Dr. Varian Harris's journey wasn't simply about taking off a mask. It was about tracing the heavy scars back to their origin. For Varian, the genesis of his silence was a devastating conflict, a war waged between his divine identity and earthly shame. At just 5 years old, he expressed his deepest truth, that God had called him to be a prophet and an apostle. But that conviction was instantly crushed by his father, who declared, "No, the hell you won't. God didn't say that. You'll never be better than me."
I think the biggest trauma for me to really write about was me facing the fear of knowing that I'm accepted. Growing in a house, it's 6 of us in all. We're a blended family. But it was just me, my little sister, and my older sister that lived in the house. So my mom had 2 kids from my dad. My dad had 2 kids from me. My mom came together, had me and my little sister. Sometimes you don't realize that you're the black sheep of the family. And it's not that you try to be better or think better. It's just how things are. And I always felt like I was never accepted. That's just me, internal. Never said that my family did that. It's just I felt that way. I felt like I wasn't loved by my father. It's like I felt like, our narrative was never in display. It just never felt accepted. So I'll carry my life the whole time looking for affirmation, looking for validation, and then I didn't realize that I took that into every president of my life. If I played sports, I played band, even to ministry, I played that same role. I was looking for a father, not knowing that I had a father, and I just need to see it from a different perspective of how he loves and how he cared and how he talked. It was just hard for me to accept it because I felt like he was just very hard. Never really gave me the love I thought I needed. So I was always I was always connected more to my mom and any mother figure. I accepted that more, and then I realized I had issues with men.
The manuscript emphasizes a painful truth. Unhealed pain can live in your body. For Varian, food became his medication, his numbing agent that filled the emptiness without asking questions. This coping mechanism persisted through tumultuous relationships, leading him to balloon to his heaviest weight ever during a divorce, 445 pounds. That weight was a scar, telling the story of every word swallowed and every moment buried instead of processed.
I think the main thing is dealing with each of segments of it, or actually seeing ourselves in it. When we get in a counselor, I didn't want to see myself. I just want to be the victim. I wanted to stay in that role that, oh, he didn't love me. They didn't care for me. I just want validation. I just want somebody but not knowing that it takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to operate. And I'm constantly putting a shield around myself and guarding myself from the actual understanding the other person's perspective. I'm doing myself a disservice and a disjustice of not understanding the validity of where that person is coming from. So I'm hindering myself from growing, which makes us not to deal with that because we don't want to see ourselves. We only want to see the person as they the villain and I'm the victim.
The turning point was realizing that his physical health was deeply intertwined with emotional honesty and unresolved trauma. He understood that he couldn't heal what he wouldn't confront. The healing could only begin when he stopped making excuses, faced the roots of his trauma, and allowed the truth to lift the weight not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally.
Let me be honest. I did not like therapy. I didn't want to go to therapy. I thought therapy is for people who are crazy, because in Georgia, we have the nut house is in Millersville. Um, and we just assume that if you go to therapy that you're crazy. I don't want to be looked at as crazy. It's something I can deal with my own personal name. And then also the concept was if you need to go to therapy, go to your pastor, go to a church. I couldn't really do that because my dad is my pastor. I can't go to him about my issues. Couldn't go to him about my problem. Um, and it was hard for me. And then being married to a counselor, that was tricky within itself because you will feel like you're being diagnosed every moment of every conversation. Not saying that the person was doing that, but it made you feel that way. Um, and so I didn't want to go to counseling. I didn't want to go to therapy. Um, but what made me go was I actually take it back. As a child, I get so angry that I blank out, and I begin to see, and I'll fight till I see blood. It wasn't to this time my dad uh, took me to the church and for get prayed for, but they took me to the hospital, and the hospital said he needed therapy and for anger management. I went to go and to see anger management, and I feel like therapy was a joke because I made the therapist laugh the whole time. Did not know that's my way of coping with the situation, but because he laughed at me, I laughed with him. Oh, I'm healed. I didn't need no therapist. But I realized during that time into now that it's a way that they talk for me to get to understand what's the truth behind the situation, which made me go to therapy to see, okay, let me check this out. Let me really open myself up and to be vulnerable so I can deal with me. And that's when I started to like therapy even more.
What
Um,
advice? What would you talk to them?
it's okay to live in truth and speak from your heart with how you feel right then and there. A lot of it's okay to people to understand where you are versus you holding it in, because holding it in is only damaging your heart more and more, and you always constantly crying at night. So let's not cry. Let's tell our truth, and whether they accept it or not, at least you were able to share how you feel.
All right. Last question. How can churches better hold space for mental and emotional healing?
The narrative with that is that we always say that the church is a place for healing. And they always say, come as you are. But the truth behind that is that really true? Because do we create a safe environment for us to really deal with mental health issues? Because we always declare something as a demon versus as mental. And so I would say we have to get to the point of us understanding the validity of creating a space for a person to not to be judged, because we're so quick to judge people when they walk in the door, how they dress, how they talk, and we're so crafty about it, and it comes off so easily that a person will literally walk away from us for even us getting to understand, getting to know them. So we have to create a space that it make them feel comfortable, that it also is excluded from the church, that it makes them feel safe to go in and talk to. Plus, have trained counselors who are both Christian as well as educational to understand the concept, to know how to deal with certain people in that way versus us attacking it, thinking that it's something else, but it's not.